Well, happy weekend, traders. It is Matt and JC with Empire Algorithmic Trading here to bring you your VWAP Visions Stock Talk weekly review.
It's where the volume weighted average price helps us make sense of the market, Matt. So let's get right to it. Time for a little stock talk.
Let's go.
Weekly review.
Well, happy Sunday, Jace. I am very excited to get back into this. What a whirlwind of the last couple days when it comes to both political and financial news out there. So let's not skirt around the issue. Let's jump right into it. What happened this week in the markets?
It was a wild one, right? It started a little. It was fine. It was actually a normal week, right? Just some tight little candles. Thursday it got weird. It opened up strong and then just sold off hard. Surprisingly threw us into a red zone, caught me off guard. I was doing some selling Thursday, but it was more just following some signals and all this. All of a sudden, after the session, I look up and I'm like, oh man, we're in a red zone.
Actual red zone, yeah.
And then the jobs report comes out and it just got nasty, right?
Real
Gap
ugly.
down, tariffs got announced. If I remember correctly, Trump was announcing higher tariffs, which knocked the market down. So everything was set to gap down. The jobs report came out. The numbers were revised significantly lower, which we're going to talk about in just a second. But the numbers got revised lower, and it sent everybody positioning because it was a very loud and clear signal from the labor market. Excuse me.
Well, it was two pronged. The jobs report came out about 40,000 jobs lower, and then they retroactively adjusted the previous 2 months
Yeah.
significantly lower.
Well, I hate the word retroactively. They revise these reports. It's a
Revised.
process. They get the report. There's a lot of guesswork in the initial, and it's been like this forever.
Mhm.
Not all the surveys are responded, so they put out based off of what they've received. They kind of project out the rest. As the surveys come in, they do a 1 month revision, and then they do a 2 month revision, and then they do a 1 year revision. So this is all standard. It's not retroactive.
Oh, no.
They're revising the numbers as the surveys come in. And
Yep.
as the surveys came in, they had to revise the number down because their projections were way the heck off, right?
Mhm. We're
And
high.
so that's a normal part of the process. Sometimes they're revised higher, sometimes they're revised lower. That's the way it's works. That's the way it's always worked. So
Yep.
that's not a surprise. Now the extent of the revision is, I think, the biggest revision downwards in like 40 years. I mean, it's
It's
jaw
79, if
dropping.
I remember right.
So, but it's not a freaking surprise if
Right.
you pay attention to what's been going on with the trade. This was exactly what was predicted 5, 6 months ago when he started all this nonsense, and he being the president of the United States. And so it's not a surprise that these numbers are revised lower. Companies were shouting from the rooftops, "We don't know what's going on. We're going to rein the tight. We're going to tighten the belts and rein everything in." And that's exactly what is happening. My belief is the reason why the stock market is continuing to roll is only because of AI. If you look at what has been working across the board, it's all AI stocks. It's all the AI plays because the AI potentially can make all this really nonsense, inconsequential. Tariffs can be, well, because the potential to completely revolutionize the economy from the ground up, from manufacturing to healthcare, is unbelievable. So the market has absorbed a lot of that, but it just came. There was also the taco trade, right? Trump always chickens out. Well, that came probably to an end on Thursday.
Mhm.
And there's still a possibility. I mean, like you and I were talking Friday morning, I'm like, is this a taco trade? But then those jobs reports came out, and then we haven't even talked about the markets yet, but the bonds, look at that rally in the bonds. That's a huge move. That's a scary move. And that is basically the bond market screaming at the Federal Reserve, worry about growth. Let's not worry about inflation right now. That's the shot across the bow. You combine that with the S&P 500, down 1.6% on Friday, the Nasdaq down 2.2%, the small caps down 2%, and the mid caps down 1.4%. I mean, the mid caps, look at that, it's just
Other
That's just
gap.
ugly, right? And we need, look at the small caps. I mean, that's just rough, man.
Yep.
So, and we need these if we, as growth investors, as momentum traders, we need the market firing on all cylinders, right? We need these stocks to continue moving because when they were running, it was a great market. We were making some pretty good money and there were some pretty easy breakouts, not a lot of volatility. It was been pretty smooth. But I think that's dead. I mean, this whole trend is smoked. Now, does that mean we're going to visit lows? No, no, it doesn't, right? It just means play defense now, start following your sell rules, don't put any new capital at risk. You want to start pulling money out until the dust settles and until the buyers come back into play.
Mhm.
But when that happens, I mean, who the heck knows? I mean, with Donald Trump firing the head of the Labor Department statistics, I can't remember the exact agency, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, whatever it is,
The BLS,
firing
yeah.
that head and claiming, in his opinion, that these numbers are fudged. He's lighting a fire to the trust that our economy, our country has built over the last 70 years. They've burnt it with the tariffs, they burnt it with trade partners, and now they're burning it with the most important market in the world, and that's the freaking bond market, man. And if the bond market loses faith, now the bond market isn't just Donald Trump. The bond market isn't just Republicans and Democrats. It's the largest market in the world. And there's a reason it's the most important thing, and why money comes flowing into us is because our government is the most trusted government in the world as far as statistical numbers go. As far as, hey, listen, we're going to tell you exactly what it is. Now, this asshole is burning all that to the freaking ground, and we're going to pay the price for that. This might not happen tomorrow. It might not happen in the months from now. This is going to be a slow degradation of trust. How are we going to trust any report that any bureau head that he installs is going to be legit, right? If
Well,
this is the
and
kind of action he's going to do, it's absurd.
it's not just local either. It's not just United States investors that he is basically saying, "Oh, don't trust any of the numbers that you hear. Only trust what I'm saying." He's not doing that just to the US. He's doing that to the world. So now, if you live in, let's just take a shot, Switzerland, and you've got a bunch of cash that you want to invest, and the US has traditionally been safe, stable, and pretty easy to make a buck in. Now all of a sudden you're going, maybe it's not there. Maybe I don't want to put my money in that one anymore. If I can't trust anything that's coming out of anybody's office over there, nah, I don't want to do it. I'm going to find somewhere else more stable. So it's like, it's terrifying.
It's one step closer to Banana Republic. I was thinking about this morning. I'm like, we're becoming Russia, right? Like
Mhm.
you see Russia's numbers and you just laugh. You're like, there's no way, right? That's bullshit. It's all nonsense. And that's exactly what's going to happen to the United States. And it's terrifying and it's scary. And so it could just be an overblown, these are emotions, right? But I'll tell you what, man, when I saw that on Friday, I was planning on, I didn't read until well after the market had closed, which was very, I try to stay away from the news till the market. I just focus on price and volume. That's it. You focus on price and
Numbers.
volume, follow your sell rules, and don't worry about the rest. What I'm trying to say is I wish I would have sold everything Friday instead of playing and waiting for these things to break down on their trends because I don't even know if you could overstate how horrible that move was, regardless of who you are. If you're just a rational observer of markets and governments, it's just ridiculous that this is happening in the United States of America.
Yep.
But again, neither here nor there, right? That's just me venting a little bit. When you get back to the numbers, I mean, it's an ugly market all of a sudden. This trend broke. So what are we looking for moving forward? So there's a couple of things. One, the 50-day moving average, which is a very common place for institutions to look. That's where potential support could be. We could draw some VWAPs, but the important part is going to be kind of similar to what we saw, what we're going to be looking for. Corrections happen all the time, little mini corrections. They're intraday, they're intra-move corrections, right? So how do we know if this is an intra-move or if this is the beginning of a bear market? You don't know until the top gets tested, right? So look at this area here. We're going to look back in this spot. You had, if we pull back, you had the trend get broken, right? The trend got broke, the high got tested, which we're going to put right here. The high got tested, and then this low right here broke. That's the trend, the change of direction breakage right there. You have one break, a high failure is two, and then the third break is the one, two, three. It's a three-step process. We're at the very beginning, right? We're at the one step. So the trend broke, which starts right here, right? You've got this trend right here, that's broke. So then we got to test the high. So I'm just going to get a little crazy here and draw another line on this.
Mhm.
So we're gonna have to test this high, right? If we test that high and take it out, great. We took out the high. This was just a correction or dip, and then I'm going to call this a correction inside of an established uptrend, which is where we're at. But you never know until it's too late, right? So we've got to treat them all like this is a potential bear market. Just follow the sell rules. If it continues to crater, you're going to be building up cash as this thing goes along. And then by the next thing you know, you're in all cash because you're not buying anything. The stocks are going down. And next thing you know, you're in a wicked bear market. That's exactly what happened to us in this last one. We just stopped buying. We followed our sell rules and we didn't start buying again until this green arrow here. We're going to do
Mhm.
the same thing. We're not going to be buying anything right now. We're following our sell rules. Anything that's flashing considerable selling below the VWAP, consistent selling below the VWAP, anything that's breaking the 20-day average, particularly, maybe the 10, depending on where we're at. Anything that's a loss is out of the portfolio already. So now it's just protecting gains, at least in my accounts. It's
Mhm.
just protecting gains, trying to keep those earnings that were very hard to come by. I shouldn't say hard. I mean, they were easy to come by, but it's a lot of work, right? It's a
A lot
lot
of
of
work.
work watching the market every damn day and making sure that your stocks aren't going against you. So it's now we're in defensive, protect your capital, protect those earnings, and then get ready. Now I'm excited because I'm a perma bull, right? As crazy and as big of a rant as I went on Donald Trump, I'm a perma bull. I do believe AI is going to revolutionize the whole world, right? And hopefully for the better. I'm a perma bull optimist, okay? So I'm excited for this because there's some stocks that we missed that I didn't buy into. They're going to set up again. They're going to correct. They're going to find
Yep.
support at the lower VWAPs. The whole cycle is going to repeat itself.
Yep.
It's just I don't have any interest in writing out that volatility. So
Dude.
if you can and you can do that, then more power to you. I personally don't like those drawdowns. I don't like worrying, is this going to come back? Because not every stock comes back, right? Now, if you're buying the S&P 500, completely different beast, right? You could buy that, it'll come back. The S&P 500 is always changing, right? Those aren't the same 500 stocks that were in it 20 years ago or
Yep.
even 3 months ago, right?
Yep.
So that thing's always changing. Why would I not treat my portfolio the same way, right?
Yep.
If the S&P 5, but I'm not going to hold on to anything that's going against us. So that's just kind of how I like to think about it. But for the most part, moving forward, pure defensive mode. Just sit back and watch and just hope that the Federal Reserve, what always drives me crazy about some of these officials is they say, we're going to just pay attention to the data. We're going to follow the data. And then in the very same moment, they say, we're not really listening to the markets. Well, come on. The markets is another data point, right? It's just one, but it's also probably the most important data point because it's millions of people making collective decisions at the same time. And like we always say, you're not smarter than the market. You could outperform the market, but you're not smarter than the market. And the Federal Reserve needs to take that into account too, right? Like they're pretty damn smart. They know what they're doing, but they also have to pay attention, particularly the bond market. And right now, the bond market is saying, hey guys, let's worry about growth right now. Let's worry about the labor aspect, the employment aspect of your mandate. And we could probably handle a little bit higher inflation, but we can't handle stagflation. And that's exactly what it looks like we're heading to. So, of course, stocks are going to get hit in that environment. And so just wait for everything to settle out. Now going to Friday. Friday was an interesting session. There were some standouts, Reddit being one of them, up 17.5%, clearly bucking the trend. Big earnings, good earnings
Yeah.
report. So it's going to be interesting to see if the market can hold here, how Reddit holds and continues to move higher. But
That
it's
is that is almost scary volume on Reddit, truthfully.
Yeah, yeah, it's almost a flight to quality. It's
Yeah.
like buddy, all the breakout traders were like, there's one breakout, let's buy it, right? So it was, and it's crazy. I mean, I was looking out of the 110 stocks in the breakout on the April breakout watch list, only 20 were up on Friday. So it's a pretty daunting day on Friday. It was
Yep.
pretty brutal. And as you would expect, the gold stocks, the gold stocks were the other best performers, right? Anglo Gold and Gold Fields. But for the most part, it was ugly. Like Data, which was trying to break out, just got crushed
Yeah.
18%. Futu Holdings, flash to sell signal, its first buy signal was down here. Flash to sell signal for us back here, and it's continuing to sell off. It was down 7.8%. Roblox, easy, I shouldn't say easy. This looks like a classic evening star. You've got a big gap up and then a big gap down. Those three candles really do not touch. So that's a pretty classic topping pattern right there. So I didn't sell on a Friday again. I wanted to wait and I was like, you know what? There's too much chaos going on today. I'm going to let everything settle. It's still holding above its 10-day moving average. I kind of kept anything that was still above the 10 days. But I'm probably going to end up selling this
Yeah.
on Monday. Uh, Now that the red zone is done, I just kind of want to go back to kind of how some stocks did during the red zone. So I kind of took a look. I'm sorry, not the red zone, during the green zone, right? We had
Green
this
zone. Yeah.
really nice run from basically April 30th to Thursday, right? There were a couple mini little red zones in there that we kind of anticipated wouldn't last, so we're kind of folding those into this one nice move that we had. So I took a look at the whole thing. We went from 50, it was a rough week, man. We went from 58% of the signals being above their buy point price, their buy day price, or buy signal price, I should say, down to 47%. So now some of those five of the seven stocks that flash signals this week are below their buy price, as you would expect with the market selling off like it is. So some of that is from newer breakouts, right? But all in all, overall, it was a rough week. That just kind of tells you the
Totally.
selling that was going on across the board from 58 to 47 is a huge move in 4 sessions.
Yep.
But for the moves, we had some pretty monster trades.
Wow. Wow.
Oklo's first buy signal was right down here, 37.41. Stock's currently at 71.49. New Scale Power, another one. First buy signal was at 24.05. It's currently at 44.43. Credo Technologies, its first buy signal was down here at 59.79. It's currently at 107.56. TSSI, another one. First buy signal was down here at 15.14. It's currently at 27.09. So those are some of the good ones. And that's just if you didn't sell on any signals or anything like that. That's just based on where the buy signal was versus where the stock's at today. Flip to the other side. And by the way, these were all marked on by the algorithm. We talked about them
Mm-hmm.
during Arrow Review. I took positions in Oklo, SMR, Credo, and TSSI. So these were all legit buys. I actually still have a small position in TSSI. I still have a position in SMR. I think I might have sold all my Oklo, and I still have some Credo. So these are pretty good, significant gains that I just need to figure out what to do with. Probably just going to follow along, and I just don't know if I'm going to sell them all or hold a portion of it. Anyhow, on the flip side, ASST was one of the worst, right? This was a crappy signal to begin with, and we talked about that during Arrow Review, that it was already well extended, not really worth anybody's risk, and it kind of proved us right. It just reversed quickly, and it's just been getting crushed. DFDV, this is on the list as one of the good ones and one of the bad ones.
Yeah.
The good one from right here. It rallied up like 330%, which is absurd. This one here, which looks a little bit more legit. Actually, I shouldn't say that. This one just failed hard right off the get-go, and then it's just down wickedly. And then NUTX, Nutex, another one that, again, we talked about this during Arrow Review. Not the best signal. We didn't really like it then, and it proved us right. And then lastly, Comstock Resources, another late extended signal that we talked about that reversed right away, gave you plenty of opportunities. That's the other thing. These are all really, really good examples of why you cut your losses if a
Yep.
breakout goes against you. That's mainly why I wanted to show these, because you could have gotten out with a much smaller loss than 40% loss, whatever this one is showing. Same thing with DFDV. You could have literally sold it the very next day and been all right. Nutex, this one flashed a little sell signal, but this break of both the 10 and the 20 day, if you didn't want to respect that and ride this because the market was good, which is something I've done and I probably would have done. But if it hit this day like that, I definitely would have sold out
Right.
on that. I think
Yep.
we talked about this that day too.
Yep.
And then same thing with Comstock. This was not only was it a late breakout, but the quick reversal, the breakdown, not even any kind of support at the 10-day moving average with the hard
Right.
break of the 20-day there. That's following you as well. So
Well, then it
again,
found resistance a couple times at that 10-day.
it did exactly right. This would be, if you have the courage and the wherewithal that's short at the 10-day, that's a good trade. But yeah, I've never been able to figure out exactly when to cut your loss on a short. So I haven't really dipped a hold. I've experimented, but I just haven't cracked the code yet on that one. But I use the VWAP to try and figure out that as well. So it's a little. I've got an idea, but I'm not there yet. So I'm working on it. Which is too bad because it probably seems like now would be a good time to might be getting some shorts in.
Yep.
But anyhow, long story short, it's defensive mode. Now we could be pleasantly surprised next week, and bulls come in and buyers step up, and all of this nonsense is literally just that, just noise and nonsense. And I hope that's the case. Right now, it doesn't look to be the case. I think the huge rally in bonds is very disheartening, and that jobs report and the president's reaction is very cautionary. So it's an interesting world we live in these days, Matt. But that's why we have rules and we take our risks when it's there. And right now is not the time to be taking risks. So let's just play defensive.
Exactly. It will be an interesting week coming forward for sure. So that's it for us here for our weekly review here at VWAP Vision Stock Talk. Thank you so much for listening on Spotify or watching on YouTube. Make sure to like, subscribe, and rate us. Rate us highly. Share it with your friends. It helps us bump up in the rating so more and more eyes and ears get on us. If you like what you see and you want to learn more, check out our website, VWAPvision.com, VWAPvision.com. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky X. We're going to be dropping another freebie of the week tonight. So make sure to subscribe there so you can get those and see some other fun little things that we like to drop throughout the week. And then last but not least, all of these signals do come from us come to us from our algorithm. And if you would like access to these daily buy and sell signals, subscribe at our Patreon, patreon.com/Empire Algorithmic Trading. So you get access to the signals, you get access to some educational videos. Jason and I talk about how we use these signals in our trading, and also just some cool investors over there checking things out, trying to make a little buck. So check that out. VWAP Vision, patreon.com/Empire Algorithmic Trading. And until Arrow Review, Jace, happy trading, buddy.
Happy trading, buddy. We will see you in a little bit.